Hello class, right now I'd like to show you how to use the Shape Builder tool, which we've already discussed in class. So, just like in class, I'm going to be building this skeleton up for you again. You can see how I broke up the backgrounds, having both the pink and the green in the back. I'm going to lock that. The skull is on the skull there, and I'm going to lock that too, and also the pen tool there. Now I'm going to create a new layer. Remember, I can move it up and down, and I'll name this skull copy. So, how I'm going to create the skull is by using just the shape tools, rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, and then also introducing again the Shape Builder tool, or as we learned in class, Shift M, the hotkey. So, to first create this sort of skull-like face, what I'm going to do is get the ellipse tool, click and drag because I want a more perfect circle, and it filled in black for me. Again, if it didn't fill in black when you've done it, all you have to do is come down here, double click, and you can pick whatever color you want. Okay? Command Z to go back to black. So now I want this sort of shape here, and we can get that by going again to the shape tools, rounded rectangle, and maybe a little bit longer. And I'm just going to readjust this. Now let's say it was off like this, and I wanted both of these centered. So I wanted the center of each of them to be aligned. Remember, there are two ways to select your images. You can click on your graphic, hold down Shift and click on the other, and that will select both of them. Or you can click and drag. Now the reason why this works so well here is because there isn't too many shapes, and this, remember, is not really anything, it's just a background. But if I had other shapes here, I could accidentally select those. That's why it's great to have, again, different layers and them locked, okay? So again, I want to make these both centered. If you come up here to the alignment tool and you just hover over them, they'll give you a description of what they are. But for this, I want centered and I want in the middle. And there we go. You can see that they're right in the middle where they should be. All these anchor points line up. And those are really helpful tools. Again, they're not here right now, right? Because we had to select, we had to activate an area in order for them to arrive. So let's say I wanted vertical line bottom. You can see now that they line up perfectly at the bottom. But I want this instead. And I'm going to do Command Z to get back to that. So I have this. There we go. I have this. I'm coming over to my Shape Builder, or again, Shift M, and you can see how that highlighted. Now you can sort of see how when I hover over them, it's making a checkered pattern. Plus, it's already dissecting the shape. So even though this is one shape, because it's overlapping, the tool can dissect the shapes into different parts, which is really cool. Now it's very easy to shape build these shapes together. All I have to do is start on a part so it's checkerized, click and drag, and you can see how it highlighted all of them. Now they're all in checkered, and I just let go, and there we go. One whole shape. So it's sort of like a cousin to Pathfinder. This is a little bit more primal. It really just does merging and subtracting, where Shape Builder does a whole bunch of different things. But this is good for simple things like this. So right now I want to build in these teeth. And again, the reason why this is working so well, and I'm using subtracting. So how to do the teeth? Again, we can stick with the rounded rectangle tool. And I just want to drag it over a little bit. And if it helps you, you can also make these white. Again, you can toggle that, click on the stroke, and then get rid of the stroke. And then you can sort of see how the space will look more than a black on black presence would. Remember, Option Command, click and drag, holding down all those together. Now, you can see that they're really uneven in spacing and height. So if I, again, click and drag, so again, if I click, hold down Shift, and then keep clicking these, they're all going to highlight themselves. I can come up here, I want to align bottom, and then I want to align horizontally. That's why these are so amazing. You don't have to hand do them, they're very simplistic, and I just want to centerize that a little bit more. So, again, to use the shape builder to merge something, you have to select the items, all of them, right? About what you want to merge. It's the same thing for subtracting. So if I want to subtract these soon-to-be teeth from this shape, I have to select everything. That is the key. You cannot just select the teeth and go and minus the shape. You have to select everything in order to do this. So everything is selected here. Again, going over to Shape Builder or Shift M. Now, you can see that it has the plus sign and it can merge these shapes. Again, I want to subtract. So again, hold down Option, and you can see the minus, and there we go. Now make sure you get rid of these shapes, because again, it's cutting up the sections of the shape, dividing them, because they're overlapping. And here we go. So it's no longer white. If I come over here, you can see it sits on back of the pink background, because it's actually extracted from the shape. Okay? So, get an ellipse, make an eyeball, Option Command, click and drag, another eyeball. Now again, these are off, so I want to make sure I line them. I'm going to line them through the center, and I can come over here. This looks like a pretty good lineup. Again, clicking and dragging to select all. Shift M for the shape builder, holding down Shift and click, click. Again, moving it over here, and you can see totally extracted from the shape. Now, how to get a triangle. Obviously, we don't see a triangle tool here, but we do see a star tool. Now, the trick with the star tool is you must click and drag. And while you are clicking and dragging, you do not, I repeat, do not let go of your mouse when you're clicking, or else it becomes a firm shape, just like this, okay? I have to click and drag and hold. Now, while holding, I use my up and down arrow key, and you can see my down arrow will create a triangle, but if I use my up arrow, I can go to many dimensions with this triangle tool. I cannot edit it at this state and go back down, but I can just select the star shape again and then keep going down until it gives me the triangle I want. And then by going up to the safe zone or the selection or move tool, we would just use the corners and round that out to be square. Again, selecting everything, because now everything behind this triangle is one shape. Selecting the triangle, Shift M, holding down Option, and there we go. So there's that. Now, for these, it's quite simple how I made the bones. I just came over here to the rectangle tool, clicked and dragged to make it thinner and smaller, came to the ellipse, circle, Command, Option, Command, drag, line these up, and then Option, Command, drag again. And you can also line them up here. They should already be lined up. Then you can line them up with each other. There we go. So now this should be perfectly symmetrical. Again, Shift M for Shape Builder. Now you can see this dissects it in a bunch of tiny little shapes again because of all the overlapping. So what you could have done is either shape build these circles together and then copy them, or just make sure that you get all the shapes, and you can see how it got those three but it didn't get these ones. So just be aware of that when you're shape building. You have to get all the shapes or else it could be a little funkified. And there you go. You can see now it's all like that. So I can either just use my corners and on my selection tool just rotate it, or I can go over to my rotation tool and do it at a perfect degree angle. I just want to make this actually a little bit bigger. And then with this, I'll actually come over, and there we go, it flipped it perfectly for me. Line these up, and make sure it's where I want them to be on here. And you can see now that how you can sort of see the eye and then the bone comes over. So I would make sure that both of these are in the back, and you can put the skull in front. So now you can see that that's in front. And what you can do now is you can merge part of these. So again, Shift M, and you can build that and build that. And now, if you look close, it highlights these little parts, right? You can hold down Option and get rid of that. Hold down Option, 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 and then come back to positive, and you can build these up. Build them over, so there's really no blue lines anymore in the middle. That's what you want. And there we go. There's your own little skull and crossbones. And remember, with this, let's just put a background layer on it. You can see again, no white, because everything is one shape and these were subtracted from the shape. So again, I should not be seeing any white. It should all be one shape, and the shape can change color. But all these holes should be a background color, okay? Alright, have fun with the Shape Builder tool.